بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم وصلی اللہ علی النبی الکریم رب اشرح لی صدری ویسر لی امری واحلل عقدۃ من لسانی یفقہوا قولی. The topic for this day is Islam and peace. Islam and peace. I have studied Islam from its original sources, that is, books compiled in Arabic language, Quran and Hadith and As-Sirat al-Nabawiyyah, Siyar al-Sahaba, etc. These are the source books of the religion of Islam. All the source books of Islamic religion are in Arabic language. So I have studied Islam from its original text. I can say that I have spent whole of my life in studying Islam. After this long and comprehensive study, I can say with conviction that Islam is a religion of peace in complete sense of the word. The very word Islam has a connotation of peace. You know, the root word of Islam is silm, S-I-L-M, silm. In Arabic language, silm means peace. So, by the very name, Islam means religion of peace, religion of peaceful living, religion that emphasizes the values of peace. So this is the religion of Islam. Although there are many material published in different papers and books that depict the picture of Islam in another way. For example, the London Times published an article about Islam. The title of this, the caption of this article was "A religion that sanctions violence." Although the best title may be "The religion that promotes peace." One Orientalist refers an event from the early period of Islam. He says that when there was Battle of Badr, Battle of Badr, you know, Battle of Badr was a defensive war from the Prophet's side. Meccan people who returned hostile against the Islamic religion. They attacked Medina, where Prophet was living with his companions. So Prophet was compelled to go for defense. So Battle of Badr was a defensive war. At that time, in some traditions, it is mentioned that the Prophet himself was not involved in the battle. He was sitting in an aloof place that is called in books Arish. Arish means a temporary shelter. A temporary shelter or makeshift shelter. Arish means makeshift shelter. So the Prophet was sitting under this Arish, and the battleground was in front of him. So the tradition says that at that time, when was Prophet sitting under this Arish, he was making lines on the sand, making some lines. The report says nothing except this. Then an Orientalist, a Western scholar, taking this event, says that the leader of Islam was making his next war plan. The leader of Islam was making his next war plan. But it is quite wrong. Why? You can say the famous book on Islamic history, that is Al-Bidaya wa Nihaya. The author was Ibn Kathir. It is a very authentic book on Islamic history. So in this book you can find that when Prophet was seated under this Arish, an angel from God came to him. An angel said, "O Prophet, God has conveyed you salam." Salam means peace. So at that time, when Prophet was sitting in Arish during the Battle of Badr, he received a message from God that was a message of peace. Then what happened? After receiving this message, Prophet said, this was the response of the Prophet, Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam wa ilayka yarji'u salam. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam wa ilayka yarji'u salam. Rabbana hayyina bis-salam wa adkhilna daraka dar as-salam. Tabarak Rabbana wa ta'alayt ya dhal jalali wal ikram. The translation of this saying or dua is, O God, you are peace. Peace is from you. peace returns to you. O God, let us live in peace. O God, let us to enter into the home of peace, that is paradise. O God, glory be for you. You can see here the prophetic vision, prophetic sentiment. He is living in peace even at the time of war. The exchange between prophet and God at that time was in terms of peace. God sends a message of peace, and the response of prophet was in terms of peace. So this is the true spirit of Islam. This is the true teaching of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace and not a religion of war or violence. Now, why Islam gives so much emphasis on peace? What is peace? Peace is not simply, generally scholars define peace as absence of war. But this definition is a negative definition. When you say that peace means absence of war, you are defining peace in negative terms. The best definition of peace, according to the Islamic spirit, is that peace means availability of opportunities. When there is peace, there are opportunities. And where there is war, there is no opportunity. So war means absence of opportunity, and peace means availability of opportunity. This is the true definition of peace and war in Islam. Now you can understand why Islam gives so much emphasis on peace. Because the target of Islam completely depends on peace. The chapter 14 of Quran, that is Ibrahim, chapter Ibrahim, this chapter 14. The very first verse of this chapter is Kitabun anzalnahu ilayk لِتُخْرِجَ النَّاسَ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. This is the first verse of chapter 14 of the Quran. The translation of this verse is, God says that we have sent you the book, Al-Quran, so that you may bring people from darkness to light. This is the purpose of revelation. This is the purpose of prophet. This is the purpose of sending Quran. We have sent you this book, that is Quran, so that you may bring people from darkness to light. It means that Islam is completely an ideological campaign, an ideological mission. Those people who are living in darkness, darkness means ideological darkness. Here darkness means ideological darkness, theoretical darkness. So, the purpose of Quran, the purpose of Prophet is to bring people from this ideological darkness and make them to live in ideological light. Tawheed is an ideology. Tawheed is an ideology of light. So all those people who are living in other ideologies, all those ideologies are darkness, ideology of darkness. So Quran wants to bring these people from darkness to light. You can see that this mission is completely an ideological mission. This mission can be achieved only through peace, not through sword and gun and war. This mission is based completely on persuasion, on dialogue, on discussion, on intellectual awakening. You can say, you can understand that this kind of an ideological mission cannot afford war, cannot afford violence. It is but natural that this kind of mission requires peace every time, at any cost, at any price. Because only in peaceful condition, only in peaceful situation, you can persuade people. You can organize dialogue and discussions. Without peace, there is no dialogue. Without peace, there is no discussion. Without peace, there is no persuasion. Without peace, there is no ideological campaign. So, it is quite evident that war and violence are irrelevant in the scheme of Islam. The scheme of Islam given by the Quran, given by the Islam, requires peace in complete sense of the word. War and violence and intolerance, all these things are irrelevant, unwanted in Islamic scheme. Completely unwanted. Because of this reason, Quran emphasizes greatly on patience, that is sabr. Sabr. Sabr is the most important teaching of Islam. You know, there is a very unusual verse in the Quran. It says, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. This is a very unusual verse. Because it says that those people who are patient people, who perform sabr, they will be given reward. They will be unaccounted reward. You cannot find any other verse about any other teaching in the Quran. This verse specifically for sabr. So sabr is so important. Why? What is sabr? Sabr is not a passive attitude. Sabr is not cowardice. Sabr is not a passive attitude. Sabr is nothing but living in peace. Sabr means living in peace. I can say with conviction that this is the only definition of sabr. Sabr means patience. And Islamic patience is not cowardice. Islamic patience is living in peace. Now, what is living in peace? You know, in this world is a world of test. We are here for test. Pre-death period, we are living in test. Present world is a testing ground. So because of this scheme, God has granted man complete freedom. Everyone, every man and woman enjoys complete freedom given by God, by the Creator Himself. So no one has right, no one has power to abolish this freedom. So when man enjoys complete freedom, so it is but natural that they misuse this freedom. Everywhere you can see this phenomena, that people are misusing their freedom. Now, when people misuse their freedom, then it means creating problem. When a man or woman misuses his freedom, it means he or she is creating problems for others. So according to this scheme of God, according to this creation plan, every is a born problem person. Everyone is a problem creator. In such a situation, it means that you are living in a thorny bushes. You are living in a society where everyone creates problem. So in such a situation, sabr means adopting peace unilaterally. When you adopt the principle of sabr unilaterally, when you adopt the principle of patience unilaterally, then it is sabr. Then it is Islamic peace. So according to the creation plan of God, according to the scheme of life, sabr is a great virtue. Sabr is a virtue. Sabr is not an evil. Sabr is the greatest virtue in the eyes of God. Because without keeping sabr, you cannot follow the religion of Islam. Without keeping patience or sabr, you cannot purify yourself. No. As Quran says, who will be settled in paradise? Zalika jazāu man tazakka. Those who have purified their soul. So only purified souls can find entry into paradise. So this process, in purifying your soul, is a process, long process. How you can maintain this process successfully? Only through sabr. Without sabr, you cannot maintain this process that will lead you to paradise. So sabr is the most important teaching of Islam. And when sabr is most important teaching of Islam, then it means peace is most important teaching of Islam. And war and violence are most unwanted practice in Islam. Because war and violence and intolerance are permanent hindrance in maintaining that process that is leading you to paradise. So this is the position of peace in Islamic scheme. Then there are some very important teachings in the Quran. For example, Quran says, "In istaqamu lakum fastaqimu lahum. Wa in janahu lis-salmi fajna laha." These verses means that when the other party offers you peace, so accept it. If the other party offers you and says that let us live in peace, so you have to accept it without delay. This is the Islamic teachings. And you know what is the situation in our age, in the present world? You know, we are living in an age where there is United Nations. All the nations of the world are members of this organization. All the countries, all the nations are member of this world body. There is UNO. And you know, under this organization, under this international organization, under this universal organization, all the nations, all the countries have signed on a document. It is called Charter of United Nations. That aggression is unlawful in international life. Aggression is taboo in international life. No nation has right to attack any other nation. It means that in our present age, every nation is saying, let us live in peace. When Janahul Islam Fajnalaha, at that time it was meant in a very limited sense. Now it has gained a international connotation. Now, in the age of United Nations, every nation is saying, let us live in peace. Let us adopt the formula of peaceful coexistence. So now that principle is internationalized. The present age has internationalized that principle of Islam. إن استقاموا لكم فاستقيموا لهم وإن جنحوا للسلم فاجنحوا لها. This principle of Islam has been internationalized in our age. So we have no option other than to accept this offer. Every nation is saying, let us live in peace, let us live in peace. So it is a very good news for you. It is very good news for us. That the very age, the international body itself is offering to all the nations of the world that adopt the formula peaceful coexistence. So it is quite in favor of Islam. It is quite in favor of Islam. So we have to welcome this modern trend, this modern international offer, and accept it by heart. Then I can give a very relevant reference from the Quran in this regard. You know, Prophet was born in Mecca. He received his first revelation in 610 AD. So at that time, Meccan people were idol worshippers. They were mushrik. The mission of the Prophet was based on Tawheed, and the audience was mushrik. Meccan people were mushrik. So they turned hostile. They became enemy. So there was persecution against the Prophet and his companions. Then what happened? After 13 years of this sad experience, Prophet decided to leave Mecca. He decided to migrate from Mecca and settle in Medina. Then a very important point. Here is a very important point. The final word he gave to Meccan people. What was the final word? What was the final word he gave Meccan people at that time when he migrated to Medina? He never said that from this day we and you are at war. And when he decided to leave Mecca due to all those persecutions, all those atrocities, he was compelled to leave his hometown. So at that time, the final word he gave to Meccan people was not like this. I and you are, from this day, I and you are at war. No, not at all. It is mentioned in the chapter number 109 in the Quran, this final word. He said, Lakum deenukum waliya deen. He said this word and left Mecca. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. For me, lakum deenukum waliya deen. For you, your religion. For me, mine. This was the final word of the Prophet of Islam when he migrated from Mecca to Medina. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. For you, your religion, for me, mine. What it means? It means that from this day, it means that it was a difference management. It was a formula of difference management. In other words, he said that from this day, we will adopt the formula of coexistence. For you, your religion, for me, mine. He never said that from this day, we and you are at war. But he said that from this day, we will adopt the formula of peaceful coexistence. This was the formula of difference management adopted by the Prophet of Islam. It's very important. The formula of coexistence. Prophet was the first to give this formula in the history. The formula that is now adopted by the United Nations was adopted by the Prophet. The Prophet was the first to adopt this formula in 7th century AD. So he said, for you, your religion, for me, mine. This is the essence of principle of coexistence. By saying this, he said, from this day, we will adopt the formula of peaceful coexistence. And you know, peaceful coexistence is the only way of existence in this world. So this is the unique formula of peace. And Prophet of Islam was the first to give this formula in the history. So Islam is a religion of peace in complete sense of the word.